If you're a lady currently trying to get below 100 kgs and every time you step on the scales and see that they've gone up, you freak out and it throws you off your progress, that is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk you through exactly why the scales go up, most importantly, why this is super normal and what to do so that it stops getting you down and you can keep on making progress. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name's Zoe. I'm an online fitness coach for women, specifically helping ladies to get below 100 kgs and looking to lose anywhere from 10 to 40 kgs. I have worked with many women over the years, and I can safely say that scale fluctuations and spikes on the scales are one of the most stressful things that you can go through when you're trying to lose weight. I know exactly how it feels, and this used to really throw me off my game. I'd be really consistent all week. I'd step on the scales thinking I've smashed my calories, I've got steps in, I've got good sleep, I've done my workouts. I'd step on the scale, see that it's shot up by half a kilo, and it would completely derail me, and I would just want to throw the towel in. This is exactly what I want to help you with, and I'm going to talk you through why it happens and what you can do to overcome it. So there are other reasons, but I'm going to go through the 5 biggest reasons. I've just got some notes here to the side so I don't forget anything. I've got 5 main reasons as to why the scales go up, even though you're doing everything right. The first big thing is your menstrual cycle. No matter how consistent you're going to be with your calories, no matter how good you're going to be with steps in your workouts, because you're a woman with a menstrual cycle, you are going to weigh heavier in the lead up to your period, probably the week before and the week of, which is half the month, right? The reason for this and the reason for all of the others that I'm about to say is that it is water weight. It's not fat gain, it is water retention. There are lots of different things happening in your body. For some reason, your body is holding onto water. So during the week and the build up to your period, and when you have your period, if you jump on the scales and it's shot up, I can very safely promise you that it is absolutely not fat gain. It's just water weight, considering your body's about to go through a different phase and you're about to get your period. That's the first big reason. The second one, and a big one, is sleep. Sleep is the foundation of everything when it comes to weight loss, and it's really important. If you're not getting good sleep, or even if you have really good sleep, but then one night you have a terrible night's sleep, you're going to weigh heavier the next day. And it's the same reason. Your body's holding on to water. So again, you don't need to freak out. It's not fat gain. All it is that you have had a really crap night's sleep. You've stepped on the scales and they've jumped up. So that's another big reason. The next reason is if you've had more carbs or more salt than normal the day before. Let's say, for example, you go out for dinner to a restaurant. You're trying to lose weight, so you pick something on the menu that fits with your daily calories. Even though it fits with your calories, you'll step on the scales the next day and it will be heavier. Again, you might have guessed it by now, it's water weight. It's not fat gain. All it is that you've had more carbs, more salt. And then as a result, your body's then holding onto water because salt dehydrates you. And obviously carbohydrates, there is water contained in carbs. So again, that's why it's reading heavier, not fat gain. And the next big thing is your hydration levels as well. Actually, the least hydrated or the less hydrated that you are, you're going to have a spike on the scales the next day. That's again because your body feels like it's not got enough water in its system. It's going to hold on to it and not want to let water go. So if you're not drinking a lot of water, or you have one day where you've barely drunk any water, that's why it's heavier. The final kind of big one, like I said, there are others, but I feel like for women and for women over 100 kilos, these are kind of like the 5 big reasons. Number 5 is stress. When we're stressed, we have more cortisol, more of the cortisol hormone in our system. Cortisol is not an inherently bad hormone, but if we are stressed, there's going to be more cortisol in our system. And also when we're stressed, when our body's in a state of stress, our body's going to be less likely to want to burn fat and to let go of fat. Again, it's going to try and hold it on a little bit more. So that's also why if you're super stressed, it can be harder to lose weight and the scales might read a bit heavier. What I want you to know through all of this is that it isn't fat gain. It would be physically impossible for you to weigh one weight one day and then the next day be half a kilo to a kilo heavier. Physically impossible. And just for context, if you were to gain 1 pound of body fat, you would have to eat about 3,500 calories over your maintenance calories. So for those of you watching, I would assume right now that you guys are in a calorie deficit. So it's not even over your deficit calories, it's your maintenance calories. So it's more food than you're eating in a day right now, plus 3,500 calories. When you think of it in that way, that is a lot of food. That is a lot of food. I would very safely assume that you have not eaten an extra 4,000 calories in one day and have gained a pound of body fat. Absolutely not. It's all just water retention. So now that we know kind of like why it's there and why it happens, what can you actually do to overcome this? There are a couple of things that I really recommend. First of all, you've got to focus, and I want you to start using the catchphrase data over drama. Scales, we often have a very emotional attachment to them. And I know that when we want to lose weight, we want the scales to go down more than anything. But what I want you to know is that it is literally just a number, and it's just a piece of data to know that you're progressing in the right way. So as much as you can, I want you to try and remove the emotions from the scales. Not see it as an emotional thing, but just see it as a piece of data. I know that's easier said than done. When we've been trying to lose weight for a long time, perhaps, there is quite often a big emotional attachment to the scales. So the next point that I'm going to give you as a bit of advice will really help you. Start to look for other things in your weight loss journey that are markers of improvement that have absolutely nothing to do with your scale weight. As a coach for ladies, how much every one of my clients weigh on the scales is probably the thing that I care about the least, to be honest. I care much more about other things. You building muscle, you getting stronger in the gym and performing better in the gym, lifting heavier weights, better form, having more energy day to day, being able to do daily activities and daily tasks that you love doing for as long as you can without feeling knackered or in pain. Your confidence improving, your clothes fitting differently and fitting better, loving what you see in the mirror, your relationships around you improving as a result of you taking care of yourself and feeling better in yourself. Start looking at these other markers of success. They matter so much more than what the scales say. I think very often we can only fixate on the scales and think that scales are the only metric of success in weight loss. Of course, it's a big part of it. We have to weigh, and we have to weigh regularly so that we know we're on the right track, but it's not the only thing that you should care about. And I would really encourage you to start looking for those other wins. It takes a bit of time to unpick that mindset, but it really does help. The third thing that you need to do is to help you with scale fluctuations and to get comfortable with them is to make sure that you're doing weight updates at least 4 times a week. My ladies inside Patient Fitness will update their weight at least 4 times a week. The reason is because if you only weigh in once a week, it's not going to give you a full picture. It's not going to give you an accurate reading of what your weight actually is. Let's say, for example, you always weigh once a week on a Saturday. Every Friday night, you might go out for a restaurant meal. And as I've just said, if you go out for a restaurant meal, you're having more carbs and more salt than normal. So the scales are going to read heavier. So if you only ever weigh on a Saturday, you're going to always catch yourself on a day where you have a spike on the scale. And that's going to freak you out and you're going to want to throw the towel in. However, if you're weighing at least 4 times a week, what you can do instead is see that it goes up and down, which is super normal. And then you can just account for those fluctuations, take a weekly average and compare it to the week before. This data alone and doing it more frequently allows you to understand your body and understand when it spikes up and when it spikes down. And most importantly, give you reassurance that you are losing weight. It's just you need to be doing it multiple times a week to do that. So these are my top tips for getting comfortable with fluctuations and getting comfortable with the scales. I know that it takes time. It's not going to go away magically overnight. You're not going to suddenly do all this stuff and then magically one day jump out of bed and be like, oh, I now don't care about the scales. It takes time, particularly if this is something you've been worrying about and have had a mindset shift about for many, many, many years. But what I can tell you is if you follow this advice I've given you here, over time, you'll become really comfortable with the scales. The answer isn't to not weigh yourself and to hide away from it. Instead, it's about building your relationship and improving your relationship with it and learning just to see it as a piece of data rather than something that has emotional attachment to it. I hope this video has helped any ladies that are on a weight loss journey at the moment looking to get below 100. I understand the scales are really frustrating, but this will really help you. And if you are a lady that's over 100 kilos at the moment and you're on a journey, you're looking for more advice, I would really recommend looking at the video that I've linked in my description here. I would recommend going there next on my page so that you can learn a bit more and get some more help. I've also linked my Instagram profile below as well, and I'd recommend dropping me a follow on Instagram because I share daily fat loss tips specifically for women over 100 kgs on there. I hope this is helpful and I will catch you guys next week on the next video.